My
positions.
honest to God answer is that the media has gone into sensationalist mode of sensationalizing everything.
God.
So I do think that there are core issues at stake in this debate, and I think there are core issues at stake in a lot of what's going on in our country.
Yeah.
And I think that the treatment that this has gotten in a lot of the coverage actually is, like all media coverage, being skewed towards. Hold on one second, Nellie. I don't think that I'm happy to talk about the issues at stake.
Right.
But to talk about why it's the
why
most
it's so big. We'll start with why it's so big.
Right. Why it's so big.
So you think that it's been inflated
Yes, absolutely.
by the media. Nellie, you're shaking your head.
Billionaires secretly funding one of the biggest lawsuits of the
Billionaires
year.
secretly fund stuff all the time.
It's a huge, crazy story.
Yes.
The media doesn't need to sensationalize this. Fiction couldn't do this. This is crazy. The reality is wild enough. I don't think it's being sensationalized at all.
For people who don't know the story, I'm just going to give a little basic recap here. Peter Thiel, for those of you who don't know, is a billionaire here in Silicon Valley who is quixotic in his views on life. He went to Stanford. He wrote a lot of stuff about the diversity. Wrote a book, The Diversity Myth, and he made a ton of money off of PayPal and then a bunch of money backing Facebook. He's on the board of Facebook, and he was outed by a publication in New York, Gawker, run by Nick Denton, who himself was a quietly closeted gay man in New York. A third gay man wrote the story that outed Peter Thiel, named Owen Thomas, who ran Valleywag, which was known for doing really, I would say, as hard as you can be personally on people in their reporting. I was kind of one of their whipping boys for a little while there, too. We'll get into that. Yeah, I put myself up there. And Peter Thiel has done the longest end game of any vendetta in the history of vendettas, it seems. We'll see what happens on the final episode of Game of Thrones, but this is Game of Thrones-esque in its execution. He backed the lawsuit that Hulk Hogan had against Gawker. Gawker, of course, published a sex tape in 2012 with Hogan having sex with his friend Bubba the Love Sponge's wife. I can't make this stuff up. And the sex tape was stolen by one of Bubba's people. Gawker never one to turn down an opportunity like this, publish the sex tape, and they lost a $150 million judgment, which was funded by Peter Thiel with the explicit purpose of inflicting as much pain on Nick Denton. So what does this...
And it emerges that he's funding several other lawsuits.
Hey, everybody, we've got a great new partner on This Week in Startups, and I'm really excited about because it's a product that we're using here at This Week in Startups and launch, and it's called Design Crowd. You can go ahead and check it out at designcrowd.com and on Twitter at DesignCrowd. What is it? It is the best way to make a logo, a graphics, or web design for your business. It's an online marketplace where you can outsource or crowdsource, as you know, custom designs, and they have over 500,000 designers there around the world. Here's how it works. Very simple. You post a brief. What is a brief? It's basically like your spec. I'm looking for a logo for This Week in Startups. It's a podcast with a bombastic, aggressive, Brooklyn-born bulldog of a host, Jason Calacanis, but it's about technology and finance. And then you get feedback from 50 to 100 designers, sometimes even more. And then you give them feedback. So you look at the 50 or 100 designers' work and you say, you know what? These three speak to me. I like the bulldog logo. We used to have a bulldog logo in This Week in Startups. Yeah, let's play off the bulldog. And then I like this other person who's doing the skyline of New York and the skyline of San Francisco. Oh, that tells the story of Jason going from New York to San Francisco. Great. You give them that feedback. It motivates the designers. They give you more. And then you select the best one and you approve payment to that designer. It's a money-back guarantee. There are designers all over the world who love working on this type of platform, and their clients include the Harvard Business School, Forum for Innovation and Growth, Virgin, HTC, Absolute Vodka, Amnesty International, which was my first job out of school. I worked at Amnesty International as a microcomputer specialist, and 100,000 plus small businesses and entrepreneurs. Visit designcrowd.com/twist, and they will give you up to $100 on your next design project. Go ahead and visit designcrowd.com/twist and save up to $100 on your design project. And for the super fans, special mission. Go ahead and thank @DesignCrowd on Twitter and Facebook, and I will like it and retweet it from our different accounts. Great way to engage and reward the partners who make independent media like This Week in Startups possible. Thanks again to our new partner, Design Crowd. Go ahead and try it. It's really good. Okay, let's get back to this amazing episode.